Just a little bit of introduction about who we have and what we do. Virtual Domain is a marketing, sales, and business development training and performance improvement specialist firm. At the core of what we do is that we provide personalized training and certifications to individuals or companies that seek to transform their sales results. At the center of all of the services that we provide, the essence of what we do is that we want to be able to help uh, marketing, sales, and business professionals. To 8 years that we have been operating, we've been able to garner for ourselves a track record that spans both B2B and B2C sector with over 2,000 professionals and being trained. That being said, I would want to go straight up to the content for today, business strategy. I'm very, very sure that if we're supposed to have a question and answer session, and then we are asked, what is strategy or what is business strategy? I'm sure one or two of us would have an idea of what that is about. Because to a large extent, we've been practicing for more than a year and we've had to sit down and track something out that will help us to be able to achieve a particular set of goals that at the end of the day is something that will help us to be able to see if what we are doing is working, if what we are doing is also in line with what we have um, been able to set for ourselves as goals or as expectations. So, in a nutshell, if I'm supposed to say, okay, I want to do, I want to give a definition of what business strategy is. I would say that your business strategy is your roadmap for achieving your business goals. It establishes a set of principles that informs your business priorities, your business decisions, and your business actions. It's not, however, the actual tactics, right, that you do, but it's basically the things that you need to put in place to help you execute, right, all of the necessary decisions or all of the necessary actions that is going to be useful for your business. What we'll be talking about today is not strategy as the umbrella strategy. We're going to be narrowing down business development specific. We're also going to be talking about certain things that makes business development strategy not to work, right? Are you a business developer who is saddled with the responsibility of creating business opportunities or of looking for business? Or do you have a business and you are wondering, I've been in the field for 5 years, I've been in the field for 2 years, I've been in the field for 1 year, and I'm still not able to uh, I'm still not able to increase my market share. I'm still not able to increase my customer base, or I'm not enjoying the kind of results that I want or that I have anticipated even before this business was initiated. Now, one aspect of strategy that allows you or that affords you the opportunity to be able to effectively plan and then measure the activity that you do. And also at the end of the day, help you to be able to run some sort of evaluation of your results to see if what you did worked and if it did not work, that aspect of strategy is the business development strategy. So I have here that business development is a complex term that requires a holistic view and also comprehensive action as it relates to the growth of your business. At the core, business development is about proactively looking for ways to expand the business. And not only doing that, aligning your team or ensuring that your every activity that you do as a business owner is in alignment, right, with all of the things that you have decided to put in place, with your resources also, in order to be able to achieve the desired growth. So when you talk business development, you are talking about growth. You are talking about expansion, expansion into new territories, expanding your customer base, increasing your customer base, expanding new products, right? Or expanding into new services. So when you talk about business development, or when you talk about a person being a business developer or functioning as a business developer, this role, right, cut across multiple departments within your organization. If you are one who has a team of sales, marketing, right, HR, operations, customer service, if you have an organization that have those different departments, then the business development strategy is going to encompass or is going to incorporate all of these departments as a whole. It's easier when every of your departments are in sync with your business development strategy. And this does not only include the internal elements that are within your company, it also includes your vendors, right? It also includes what your competitors are doing, and the chain goes on and on and on and on like that. And then, if you want to bring it down to a business owner who has a business development department who are saddled with the responsibility of leveling up or taking advantage of the existing client base, or who are saddled with the responsibility of going out into the market to see business opportunities, to help you look out for places where you can expand towards. Now, one of the things that you must be able to see in your business development executive is the ability to be able to take or to nurture relationship, to take advantage of relationship or to nurture relationship. Because when you look at business development, it's all about one having the foresight or one having the ability to be able to see in between the lines because of a certain system or certain structure that have been in place. And because the system or the structure that are in place are not working, oftentimes is one of the reasons why the CEO or the management will be like, okay, let us sit down and let us evaluate what is going on. Why are we not achieving results? Why is our sales not increasing? Why is the market not expanding? What is happening? Why are the customers not responding to us? Why is it that the product that performed well 2 months ago is not performing well right now? Why is it that even though we have been in the business for 5 years, it looks like our customer or our churn rate, which means the rate at which customers leave us for competitors, is increasing, and our customer base is decreasing in numbers by the day. When this begins to happen, it is at this point that management begins to consider revisiting the table and going back to want to draft a strategy that can solve that kind of problem. Or they call the team involved to say, can we please evaluate the strategy or the plan that we had in place before? Because it looks like the result that we are having at the moment or that we are experiencing at the moment is not working. As a business developer, when you are engaging in strategic planning, it means that the things that you are doing reflect across multiple places. The role that you play is very, very, very critical because you ought to be able to see the bigger picture, either as a business developer or even as a business owner, when you are setting out to create a strategic plan that will help you grow your business or that will help you expand into new markets. You ought to be able to see the big picture. If you are able to do that, then the next thing for you to do is to zoom in and then be able to isolate the different elements that are functional and that are also fundamental to impacting positively or negatively on your sales and on your revenue that can positively or negatively impact either increasing or decreasing your market share. Once you are able to isolate all of these moving parts, then there's a need for you to focus on all of these moving parts. We're talking about tools, we're talking about structures, we're talking about the people, we're talking about your products, we're talking about the services. You're supposed to be able to have a big picture, focus in on them, and then move all of them towards the direction that you want to go through. It will be very, very difficult for you to achieve that synchronization and movement of all of these moving parts if you are unable to have the big picture in them. Because with such critical role, it is easy for you, right, to be able to understand the things that are necessary, that are vital to the success of your business. And these things, once you are able to understand them, will help you to be able to carry out high-level decision making. It will also help you to be successful, not only as a business developer, but also as a business person or as a business owner, because there is a need for you to deeply understand your business. There's a need for you to not only deeply understand your business, there's also a need for you to understand your industry. Because the understanding of your industry and the understanding of your business as a business owner or as a business developer is what will help you to be able to find out what are the vital parts within your system or within your structure that will contribute to ensuring that whatever result that you anticipate is useful. It is very, very important that before you set out to design a business strategy, that the vision of your business is very, very clear. What is the plan? What is the goal? What is the overall goal of your business? If you are unable to do that and you set out to draft a business strategy or you set out to draft a revenue or a growth strategy, if the only thing that is before you, if the only thing that you are seeing is just the profit, and you set out with that mindset to draft out your strategy, what you'll be doing will be wrong. You realize that you have a lot of things written down on your paper, and at the end of the day, it will be difficult for you to implement. And that brings me to designing a business strategy with a growth mindset. Right? So, number one thing that is very, very important, as I was trying to explain, is the vision. So, when it comes to designing a business strategy with growth in mind, and remember, when I say growth, I'm not just talking about income, I'm not just talking about the sales and the revenue that comes in. I'm also talking about increasing your customer base. I'm also talking about increasing your product line. I'm also talking about increasing your service line. When it comes to setting up a strategy that can make a positive impact on these things that I have listed, there are some basic things that are necessary for you to put in place. Number one is the vision and the long-term goal. Before you can take action as a business developer or as a business owner, you need to understand where you are headed, right? I don't know if we are familiar with this Marvel fictional movies. There's this Superman, right? I've forgotten what they call him. It skips my mind right now. His name is Division. Vision asks, whenever the Justice League want to go out on a mission, they would always want to seek the counsel of Vision to help them to be able to gain a holistic view into how the battlefield looks like. Will they succeed? What are the people that can intercept them on their journey towards the mission that the team has set to plan? And at the end of the day, whatever the vision is able to see in the mind of its perception, it communicates to the team. That is what helps them to be able to further strategize and then do what we call a division of labor. What is Superman going to do? What is Batman going to do? What is Steel going to do? What is Flash going to do? What is Jane going to do? Now, I'm a very, very big fan of Marvel stories. And for me, that is one of the ways I can picture what I'm trying to explain to you right now. I don't know if there's anyone of us who is familiar with what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is this: when you're going to be setting out to do a business strategy for your business, the first thing that you need to put into perspective is the overall vision of your business and also the long term goal. Once you have this, right, and once you have this, right, at the back of your mind, right, it helps you also to be able to create a clear roadmap on how you want to be able to achieve this with the necessary information that you need to create the plan to get there. That is the role of vision, right, when it comes to drafting a strategy that works. Another thing that is very, very fundamental when you are setting up a strategy is your understanding of the current state of your company. Because before you can design the plan of how to achieve your long-term goal, which is a first step, right, you need to also take a long and hard look at where you are presently now. And the methodology, right, or the tool that will help you to be able to do that holistically is what we call the SWOT analysis. To understand the present state of the organization, you need to have a SWOT analysis, which will comprise of what? Your strengths, your weakness, what are the opportunities that are in the market for your business that you can go into, and what are the threats? What are the things that will not allow your business to thrive, or what are the things that are presently not allowing your business to thrive based on your evaluation and based on the data that you have presently at hand. So there's a need for you to take a good, hard, and honest look. Honesty is very, very, very important. One thing over the years that I've had to engage with a couple of business owners, one thing that I find out to be very, very lacking in some quarters is honesty. Because some people feel that they have invested a lot into their business. And sometimes, because of that, they do not want to be realistic with the state at which their organization is. They just put it in blind spot and are only interested in results. But then, how did you get to where you are going to? What is it that brought you to that position? You have been in business for 5 years and you have only been able to gain 5 customers and you have not grown beyond that. And you see people who do similar things like you do, and they are expanding. Have you really had an honest discussion with yourself? Exactly what am I doing? Exactly what is it that I am good at? Is this really the field that I should be in? Are the people that I'm targeting the right type of people? Did I set out in the right foot? Do we have the right message? Do we have the right team? Do I have the right package for my product? Carrying out a SWOT analysis will help you to be able to have that good, hard, honest look at the present condition of the organization. If you are able to do this effectively, then you are on a journey, you are on the path towards creating a business strategy that will bring you out of whatever ditch that you might be at that very moment. The third thing that is very, very necessary is the current state of the industry. It is very, very disheartening that a lot of business persons out there do not even care to know what is the industry that they are playing in. You don't even know when it comes to segmenting, right? If you want to decide to isolate yourself from the market and you want to identify with a particular industry, there are quite a number of people who are not even, they don't even know where they belong to. Now, for people who do not even know where they belong to, how can they know how to fine-tune their activities. You know, it's just like a sound engineer who has his box in front of him. When a particular mic is too high, he just knows where to go to because that board allows him to be able to trace where it is connected from. Where is the noise coming from? The drum is not coming out with enough bass. He knows where it can increase. He knows where it can decrease. He just has that holistic view before him. So there's a need for you as a business owner. There's a need for you as a business developer who is seeking to draft out a business strategy that will help him or her increase his revenue, or increase his sale, or increase his customer base, or increase his product line or his service line. There's a need for you to also know what is happening in my industry. How are the things happening in my industry? How is it impacting on me? What is changing in my industry? How is it changing? What is the role, right, of the market, right? When you say market, you're talking about both the customers or your target market, your potential customers, your competitors. All of them makes your market or makes the market in which your business is playing in. So how are the activities or the behaviors of your competitors, of your potential clients, of your existing clients, of your past clients, of the government, of the entire sector as a whole? How is the behavior? How is it impacting or how is it affecting your sales? How is it affecting the behavior of your clients to your products? When your salespeople go out there to talk to people, or when you yourself go out there to talk to people, and you are hearing different kind of feedback, can you trace it to the industry? Can you trace it to the market? Is it possible for you to do that? Do you know what is happening with technology and what are the new products and services that are being created? For example, I have played for a couple of years within the tech industry, and I know for a fact that the tools that organizations used to use for data analysis has changed. There was a time when they used to use Tableau. There was a time when they used to use Oracle, right? But now, we are hearing people talking about Python. We are hearing people talking about Python for programming. So if you are unable to understand, right, all of these things that are being said, you realize that venturing into business strategy blindly can affect you. So you are somebody who is selling, who is into fashion designing. Do you know what are the current designs that are out there? How up to date are you with what is going on in the international field of play when it comes to fashion? Do you know the styles that the females are now more amenable towards, that are more accommodating towards? What type of sewing or stitching is now common or is trending? Because your inability to understand your industry, your inability to understand what is going on within your industry, right, will not make it easy for you to develop in it, because your growth within your industry is equal to growth in your business. If you can be visible, or if you are visible within your industry, then it means that your business is visible and it's doing well. And when you can understand this, you realize that it will help you to be able to make a change or make necessary changes that will be strategically successful. You will have a zero-in perspective, and you will not just be speculating. You will be dealing with facts and figures. The next thing that you need to pay attention to when you are drafting a strategy is, how does your company work? because um, it is not enough for you to know the services that you provide. It is not enough for you to know the products that you have on your shelf. But do you understand the operations? What is the workflow like, right? What is the flow? How is your customer journey going to look like if you decide to engage your business? Do you know the type of product that can bring you the highest revenue or sales? Because you need a good, solid understanding of how your business can make money. So you may want to ask yourself questions like, what does it take to build a product or to build or provide a service? What are the necessary tools or structure? Should I want to venture into a new, or should I want to add a new service to our service line? Or should I want to add a new product to our product line? Or should we want to expand into new territories? Let's say we are already a consulting firm, and the only thing we do is consultation. But then we want to begin to consider training. Have you sat down to ask yourself, what does it take to set up a training firm? I want to begin to do, I'm into bakery, right? The only thing I do right now is that I bake bread. But then I want to venture into an extended service like baking pastries, cakes, donuts, right? I want to also be able to make Scotch egg, make sausage. Don't just generalize, or don't just think that because you are good at making bread, what is difficult there is not to just check or do one or two brush-up classes, or just check on YouTube, or just do one thing like that, and I will just be on the go. No, you don't do it that way. You need to understand what is the process that are involved in setting up and running this kind of service. How much will it cost me to produce this one, just one of these products? How much profit will I make if I sell this product? What is the cash flow timing going to be like? So at what point do I begin to make profits if I decide to go into this product, or if I decide to add this service to my product? When you are drafting a strategy, these are the things that you consider. You also need to ask yourself, what is it that can positively or negatively impact on your cash flow timing? After you have looked at your product and you are like, okay, all I just need is to get 5 people. Once I get 5 people and I'm able to sell to 5 people, I think I should have made my capital and also profit for the month. I don't need to really stress myself. Any other thing that comes in at the end of the day is just bonus. Yes, that might be good. You just need 5 people. But then I think really sat down to ask myself, is there anything that can either positively or negatively impact on this? This type of question puts a lot of things for me in perspective. And another thing, right, which is the last thing that I want to talk about, very, very, very important, right, is having a good outside perspective. One thing that would contribute to the success of a strategy or a strategic plan is your ability to step outside of the box, because you need a holistic understanding of what is happening outside of your business. Remove yourself, remove your sentiments, remove your emotions and your affinity to the business. Approach your business like a cold lead who knows nothing about you but is encountering your business for the first time. So your ability to be able to look at your business and see, is it possible for me to understand what my business is about just by looking at this? just by going to my website. Let's say I want to contact you, and you decide to use your contact me option, and you put in your details. It takes you to, it sends a message to your mail. It tells you to await a consultant, and then you reach out to the person in the next 24 or 48 hours. If you look at that process from an outsider's perspective, do you think that that kind of process is good enough for you and will allow you to be able to gain customers? Do you think you will lose customers if your processes or your stages before they get to you is too long? Do you think you need to do an audit of that journey? Now, having a good outside perspective helps you to know how to approach it from that point of view. Another thing that having a good outside perspective will do is that it helps you to know what trends society, the competition, right, and also your customers are doing at the moment, or that they are expecting or engaging. How is the economy shifting, and what is also happening politically on that front? Getting a solid grasp on the external will ensure you make smarter moves when it comes to your internal processes. All of these things that I mentioned are the things that are very, very important. The vision and the long-term goal, the current state of the company, the current state of the industry, how your company works or operates, and a good perspective or a good outside perspective of your business. If you are able to have all of these things answered, then setting up a strategy or designing a strategy, right, with a growth mindset, right, will be possible. At that point, sentiment is already thrown out of the window. Bias is already thrown out of the door. At that point, you are being objective as a business person. All right. The next thing that I want to talk about is the pitfalls, why your strategies are not working. So you have your team, they've already set up your strategy, they brought it to you, or you have even set up your strategy by yourself and you have evaluated it and it looks good. But then after implementing, you just realize that this thing is not working. My customers are not increasing. My sales are not increasing. I'm not meeting my targets. And management are not happy with me. I am not, as a business owner, I'm not even happy with myself. One thing we need to know is that the same way strategic plans are unique, right? The same way having a strategic plan is beautiful. So are the challenges that comes with it. And there are just 5 major pitfalls that even experts across the industry have highlighted to be the reasons why strategies do not work. And I'm not going to say so much. The only thing I'm just going to do is to read it out for us. Number one of the reasons why strategies do not work is because your plans are complex. They are complicated. They are not simple. So if you know that you want to be able to avoid these pitfalls, there's a need to ensure that your plans are less complicated. Keep your strategic plan simple. Ensure you have no more than 5 short-term goals. If you are able to do it and you're able to reduce it better, 3 is good enough, right? And ensure also that your actions and your steps are doable. They are realistic. The smaller you break down your long-term goals, the more progress you will make. The second one is that you do not have a plan for your plan. It's funny, right? Yes, you have a strategic plan. Oh, this is what the team will do. This is what I will do as a business owner. So how do you want to achieve it? what do you need to put in place? So if you do not have a plan for your plan, right, it would really not make it easy for you, right, to kickstart. Understanding that strategic plans need structure is very, very important if it will be activated. Once your plan is complete, there's a need for you to create a plan of how you are going to implement it. Another thing that is very, very important, right, that people do not know is that your strategic plan will fail if you have the wrong personnel on the bus. It doesn't matter the years of experience that that person has. It doesn't matter how long you think that you have been running a business. If you have been doing it and it seems like it is not working, then you need to evaluate your skills, or you need to evaluate the skills of your team member. Because the person that you assign, right, in your team to any role or to any responsibility, whatever you assign to them is critical. And the person you assign it to is also critical in ensuring that you make progress on your strategic plans. And most importantly, if you want your strategic plan to succeed, then you need to ensure ownership at the top, at the very, very, very top. If you are a business owner, then you are in a good place. But if you are a business developer or a sales or a marketing executive who is saddled with the responsibility of setting or championing or being on the committee of strategic planning, there's a very, very important person that must be in the know from inception, and that person is your CEO, because he or she is the one who has the overall vision of the organization at hand. Because once you have been able to identify your vision, your mission, and your core values as an entity, making or planning a strategy becomes easy for you. Another thing or another reason why strategy fails is because of rigid or inflexible plans. The one thing that we can guarantee about your strategic plan is that while you are trying to implement it, everything will change in the course of implementation. That is one thing I have found out over the years. Your competition or your competitors, your customers, the economy, I can go on and on. These things are subject to change. Imagine what happened in 2020. Imagine what happened 2020, 2021, now 2022. Look at what happened to the entire global market. Who could even imagine or who could have predicted that such kind of thing could have happened? So you need to have at the back of your mind, the economy can change. And that can affect the disposition of people towards the type of product or service that you render. So how do you mitigate against it? Because if you have not been able to build the ability to be flexible or to flex and change your strategic plan, being able to adjust, to take advantage of the new opportunities that comes with these changes, or to shift your ground, or to shift your workflow or your strategy in order to be able to avoid whatever threat that these changes will bring, then your strategy will fail because it is too rigid. It did not foresee and it did not plan for change. The fifth reason why strategies fail is because you are not honest. Remember, I said that when I was listing the five things that are core to ensuring that a strategic plan will succeed. So this is where I explained it further here. The great thing about a strategic plan is that it is for the most part an internal document, and that is how you need to take it. It is just simply a document that you use personally as a business owner, or that you as a business developer, sales or marketing executive, that you use to help you internally. It is not something that you project outside there on your website or on your social media, or something you even share with your business partners. No, this is an internal document. It is for you and your team to use, and you do not have to reveal it to anyone else but you. So that gives you the perfect opportunity and cover to be deeply sincere to the core with yourself, honestly about your challenges, to be honest about your weaknesses, to be honest about the goals you want to set. I will always tell people, when you are telling your team to set a strategy and you are not a sincere person, you just want them to lie to you. You just want to add that view on the board, or you just want to add that view on your slide that is showing you the potential profits or the possible profit that you can make on a particular product that you are trying to launch. And you just want them to draft a strategy on how to that product you have just invested so much in, all you are just interested in is that it sells. Now, if you are not an honest person and you want people to lie to you, what you will just realize is that you will not be acting on an information that will ensure that your plans are effective. All you just have on that place are things that is just blowing you, right? Just blowing your ego, just rubbing oil on your ego. Or does that translate to profit? Does that translate to revenue? I don't know if you are following me. Let me just have a couple of feedbacks from us. Please, I don't know. Can we relate with what I'm saying? Um, Let me just have a couple of feedback before I go to my last session, and then I hand over to Mr. Bolaji. Let me just get a couple of feedback from every one of us. Let me see. Edwin, can you hear me, please? Please feel free to unmute yourself. Can you hear me, Edwin? Or Benga? I don't know which of you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. All the points you I joined will be a bit of late, but then the points you highlighted so far have just been spot on. I mean, I have no objection at all to the points you've raised so far. Please, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much for that feedback. So I would let me go back to share my screen. The last thing on my slide that I want to talk about is your go-to marketing strategy, right? And this is one thing that many, I'm sure if I'm in the community of sales, marketing, and business development executive right now, they'll be jumping on me right now, because this is something that a lot of us will, I don't want to say we will kill for, that we can do anything for, right? The candid truth is that running a business or doing business or engaging in a business engagement is really messy and unpredictable. And when I say messy, I'm not talking about messy in the negative sense. I'm talking about a lot of movements, a lot of things are moving around. And if you are not careful, you can lose out on whatever it is that is moving on in the chain of that movement. And the truth is, you face new challenges daily. I face challenge daily. Even setting up this slide, my system was beginning to hack up, right? It's all part of the business. It's all part of the process. So we face challenges daily. We also face new competitions. The market changes. And then we also stumble on new research, new data, right? And there could also be the challenge of retaining existing customers or retaining new customers, or acquiring new customers. According to McKinsey, based on the study that they did, it was reported that less than 1% of companies in the US reach 1 million in revenue. And that's really, really outstanding. But then, if you look at it, you would want to say, well, I think the problem is the marketing, which is like most of whom they put the blame on. It is the marketing team or your marketing approach is like one of the most accused when it comes to wanting to
one gender
find
or
out.
another. A typical example is one of
Please, admin, can you help me with that person? All right. As I was saying, the marketing team, right, or your own marketing strategy is often one of the most accused because that is what you will often see at the front line. But the truth is, that is not true. For organizations that have a sales team that are saddled with the responsibility of driving revenue and sales, you might even wonder if your sales team is not a problem. Some people would assume the market is not, this is not our market. And that's why we are not enjoying the kind of result that we want. We are not targeting the right people. So our customer may be the problem. We might even want to blame the customer service department. But then, let me tell us, the problem that you have is not just your market. It's not just your sales. It's not even your customer. It's not even your customer success department. The problem is your go-to market strategy. Because your go-to market strategy requires that your marketing, your sales, and your customer success or your customer service department are all on the same page. And to know the answer to the question, what should we do next, is not an answer that just one person can answer in isolation. It has to do with the collective contribution of all of those departments that are saddled with the responsibility of generating sales and revenue. If you really look at it, millions of new businesses are launching every year in Nigeria alone. The ones that are registered with CAC, the ones that are not, the ones that are just operating by the side of their house, and if they are lucky enough, they stumble on a model and it helps them to be able to build it to success, and then it begins to emerge in the public's eye. That there are thousands and millions of businesses in their small scale, in their medium scale, in large scale that are launching every year alone, according to the census. And most of them will never hit a million revenue. That's because starting a business is easy, of course. I'm sure a number of us can agree to that. But scaling your business, and when we say scaling, I'm not just talking about increasing your products in your store or increasing your customer base. I'm talking about optimizing your existing workflow, optimizing your system, which has to do with both your products, your services, your operations, your infrastructure, your human capacity, everything as a whole. How do you tweak or how do you maneuver the processes, the operations, the systems, the structure? How do you maneuver them to profitability, to growth and expansion? That is what scaling is about. It's becoming increasingly difficult to cut through the noise and to talk to your audience directly as a business owner or as a marketing department. I'm sure we know that. And in order to be able to solve this, is what the go-to market is about. Helping you to stand out and make your audience notice you. So if you're having trouble connecting with your customers, then what you are facing is a go-to market problem, and it cannot be solved at a one and done or one-on-one meeting. Solving it requires an iterative transformational process in which you bring clarity and alignment and togetherness or union within your team. So I have just a few slides left I'll just touch on a few things because I don't really want to spend too much time. Um, so when it comes to designing a go-to market strategy, right, that can help you to be able to achieve these things that I talked about, right? Standing out and making your audience to notice you. There are three types, right, of stages. And whatever stage that you belong will help you to be able to understand the type of problem that you are facing and how to solve it. So there is a problem market fit stage. So I will just want you to tell me in the comment section if you belong to any of these stages that I'll be talking about. So there's a business A. You have leads, but the problem you are experiencing is that you are unable to turn your customers, you are unable to turn them fast into buying customers. Is that a problem that you are experiencing presently? If yes, please let me know in the comment section. If that is a problem that you are experiencing, you have database of leads, you have contacts, you know a lot of people, your conversations in your pipeline are enormous, but yet your team or yourself have been unable to turn them fast into buying customers. If that is what you're experiencing, let me know in the chat section. If you're experiencing that, then the problem you have is a problem market fit. So it means that, of course, you have a product, but you have not been able to prove that the product that you have can solve the problem. You have not been able to prove that your customers will pay. Neither have you been able to prove that you can scale that business should you decide to venture into it. If you are in that situation, then what you're experiencing is a problem market fit. Then there's also another stage that we call the product market fit. So, organization experiencing this, if this is also where you belong, let us also know in the comment section. Let's say you create a repeatable customer acquisition process, meaning that you've been able to, through your different marketing channels, acquire a lot of people who have either made inquiries or have come to pay you a visit to want to know about what you do, or they have been able to join one seminar or the other, right? But then you've been able to acquire them, you have their database. But even if you have been able to do this repeatedly, but yet you've been able to acquire this leads and they've been able to buy from you, but you are realizing that it is difficult for you to renew them, either on a subscription base or to come back to use your service again. Maybe after they bought a product, they've used, maybe there is an air product and they've used it for a month to 3 months and they need to restock, but then they are not coming back to you, right? If that is what you're experiencing, or let's say they had a wedding and they contacted you and you sold their clothes, or you designed some sort of you're a photographer and you had to shoot their wedding, or maybe you are into software development and you also help in installing of certain ERPs, right? At the end of the day, they didn't even come back. They're not even coming back to you for renewal. They're not even coming back to you to update their solutions. And they are doing that with another organization. If that is what you are experiencing, then it is called product market fit. So it is not enough for you to have a person buy from you once. Are you able to turn them into a repeated buyer? If you are experiencing that problem where you are unable to turn them into a repetitive buyer, then you belong to the category of product market fit. Once you can identify that, then finding a solution becomes easy. Then there's also what we call the platform market fit. People who belong to this category, if you belong to them, let us also know whichever of this category that you belong to. People who belong to this, they are struggling with increasing their wallet share to make each customer more valuable to the business. So the way it works is that you have a business model that can enrich itself. You know, it's just like when you go to Jumia, right, to buy or to order for food. On Jumia, it is easy for you to compound products even without directly interfacing with a customer representative. So for people who are like that, so let's say that Jumia Foods, right, or Chicken Republic is not experiencing increase in order. All they just realize is that people are only ordering for rice and chicken. They're not even including drinks. They're not including salad. They're not including chicken and chips. And all of these things are yet listed. For such kind of organization, for such kind of business model that is experiencing that problem, then they belong to the platform market fit. And that problem is peculiar to them. Or you have a service that is easy for people to compound. So for example, a marketing agency has consulting services, has campaign creation, has go-to-market strategy services, or as executive training for marketing and sales executive. But then you realize that even though clients know that you provide those additional services, but yet they're not requesting for it, they rather go do it with other people, then you need to know that something is wrong. At that point, you belong to the product, to the platform market fit. So now I have a story that I want to tell us that can help us understand how this thing plays in a typical business and how can it be solved. So now, it says here, Tim & Carr is a cloud technology firm that sells marketing software to Fortune 500 companies. I just came up with Tim & Carr. So there's really no organization that is called Tim & Carr, not that I knew of when I was creating this slide. So Tim & Carr is a cloud technology firm that sells marketing software to Fortune 500 companies and are in the problem market fit stage. So they decided to consult Virtual Domain, and after a series of evaluation and consultation sessions, the expert that was engaging them from Virtual Domain arrived at this conclusion, which is what contributed or which are the triggers to the problem that they are experiencing. And that is the fact that their marketing and sales are not fully aligned. Their marketing and their sales are not fully aligned. Because they are still learning. So it means that it's either they do not have experts on the team, or the stage that they are in the business is not such that they are matured enough to understand holistically what their business represents or what their business stands for. And at that point, you realize that each element within that organization, each team or each department is operating in isolation and they are doing their thing. In order to solve this puzzle, the experts from Virtual Domain realized that the team must come together and start working towards the same goals. Their numbers must align. So if they are saying that we want to achieve 100 million in the month, then sales, marketing, customer service, operations, HR, everybody that contributes or that is involved in whatsoever way to revenue and to income in sales and revenue, they must align. They must work towards the same goal, towards the same numbers, and they must use the same metrics. Of course, there are secondary metrics that are peculiar to each department, because how marketing will want to evaluate its performance will be different from how sales will evaluate its performance. Marketing may want to be considering reach, impression, leads generated, conversion rates, right? They may want to look at increase in followership, increase in page likes, increase in engagement on the website or on the post. What is the traffic like? Sales may want to say, okay, what is the percentage of conversion of leads gotten from the marketing, right? How many repetitive buyers do we have over the month? So those are peculiar leads that are secondary. But then at the top level, all of their metrics must be the same, and they must know which stage they belong. Because until they do this, management will not be able to make decisions early. And it will not help team and car to transition at the right time. So having found out what the problem was, the consulting team noticed that there was no clarity and alignment. So they decided to initiate a workflow that was aimed, right, at creating unity. And we're not saying unity because they are fighting, but we are saying unity because their goals, their numbers, and their metrics was not aligned. So it needs to be aligned across the board. This process starts, right, with creating a target list of customers. Let's say, for instance, in the financial industry, because that is the target audience that Tim and Carl has chosen or has listed to be one of their primary targets. So in order to be able to help them, after the consultant has been able to tell them, okay, everybody needs to be on the same page, the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to create a target list of different customers that are within this industry. So this was the step that they carried out. They pulled up a list of Fortune 500 companies. They filtered them by financial services companies, and they shared the initial list, right, of targeted accounts with the team, so that everybody can have the same sheet across board. But creating the list is not enough. Virtual domain consultants understanding that marketing, sales, and customer success team need to agree to focus on the list and understand why they are targeting them, would then need to explain and also set a model or a process that would ensure that everyone has access to the necessary information, because they need to understand why they are targeting these people. They need to understand why these people, or why this audience, or why this industry, or why this sector, right, the financial service, is their target. When they do this, you realize that it becomes magic, because now they know the criteria that the list was built around. They know the criteria, the features, the characteristics that determined why this particular feature or this particular industry was selected. And because they also have an understanding of the vision and mission and the core value of the organization, it becomes easy for individual team members, but also it becomes easy for you as a business owner to know what to do at time. At the end of the day, having done all of these exercises, the team understood that creating a transformational go-to-market process means articulating what stage of the business they are in, who they are targeting, and why they are targeting them. And also that to start accelerating revenue and scaling the business, clarity is very, very fundamental. Which brings me to my last slide. So when it comes to creating a go-to-marketing strategy, You know, we already said that a lot of things could affect your strategy when it comes to business development. Business development strategy is different from a go-to-market strategy. Go-to-market strategy is a strategy that you put in place to make you visible, to make you attractive. Your business development strategy is how you are able to penetrate into your market, to be able to expand into new markets, gain new clients, introduce new products, introduce new services, right? How to ensure that you do that, and at the end of the day, you're able to be profitable at it. You do not run into loss. So now, those are the two things that we have talked about today. So the last thing I want to talk about is what are the influencers of your go-to-market strategy? The CEO is the only person that has a complete view of the business or of your business as a company. And this overview, right, of that company makes it easy for them to make decisions about the go-to market. How do we want to be seen? How do we want to be represented? What do we want the brand to look like? What color do we want to identify ourselves with? What type of language do we want to use? No sales and marketing team should do this in isolation without letting the CEO impute or sanction in approval of what they are putting out there. Because there are certain conversations that they might not even be able to engage in, that it will take the CEO or a person in a senior management role to do some kind of conversation, which will actually make it easy for them to close deals and sales. In many companies, the CEO either spends a lot of time looking at sales numbers or product features and functionality, but they are not looking at the business holistically. That is, they are not looking across sales, marketing, customer success, and products. And you know, when we're talking about products, we're also talking about service also increasing. In order for you to be able to help your CEO or senior management or even yourself as a business owner, in order for you to be able to have an holistic overview of your business, there's a need for you to have a dashboard that shows you the numbers and that also helps you to reflect the status of your business in entirety. And not to worry, this dashboard can just be created in an Excel sheet. And in that Excel sheet, the headings should be what is going to be your annual revenue, recurring revenue, what is going to be your annual contract revenue, what is going to be your gross retention rate, what is going to be your net revenue retention, what is going to be your category growth. When you're talking about annual recurring revenue, you are talking about how fast you are acquiring your new customers. How fast are you going to do that? And what is the numbers that you want to see gradually in the year? Let's say you are drafting something for 5 years. How fast is the numbers going to be changing? At what point in the year into implementation should sales and revenue begin to increase? By what percentage? How much money is a customer going to be willing to pay you annually, gradually, as you have targets in the year? You can do like a 3 years or a 5 years plan of all of these things. Also, when you're talking about your gross retention rates, you're talking about how many customers are you projecting to be renewing annually. When you're also talking about your net revenue retention, you're talking about how many more products or service you think a customer will be willing to pay for as they stay longer within your business. Gradually, are you able to plot that? When an organization encounters or buys from you, and you look at how much of input your customer service department will contribute to retaining, and also the business development specialist that is engaging with these clients, and that the contribution they are putting into retaining the customer, should that customer decide to stay with you for 5 years, what are the different products that you think or you project or predict that this customer will potentially be able to buy from you? And you do that. Another thing we talked about is the category growth, which is how fast is your company growing compared to your competitors. If you have evaluated what your business development strategy would look like and you are drafting a go-to-market strategy, are you able to look at how you will grow within 5 years, within 3 years? And how will that peg at to your competitors? You need data to do this, and this data are readily available online. These metrics will put your go-to-market strategy into context, not only for your CEOs or your senior management level, but even for you as a business owner and the entire executive team. And to help you to be able to ask the right questions. Questions like, where do we need to invest? How do we need to budget? When do we need to hire? Who do we need to hire? What do we need to cut down? So all of these things are what are going to begin to play out by the time you have successfully been able to achieve your go-to-market strategy. So I'm going to be stopping here from my own end. Of course, we are going to open the floor for question and answer, I believe, after Mr. Bolaji's session. So Bolaji, over to you. Thank you, everyone.
Great stuff. Great stuff. I just want to add one more thing to what Omotola said. And the truth is this: flexibility is one of the most important things when it comes to having to put all these things together. But having the clear goal sets and clear vision, as she has earlier stated, but flexibility in trying to achieve these goals is important. And that's why it's good to understand the vision entirely with the team and now figure out the way to reach out to the clients in the best way possible to solve their problems. And thank you, Omotola, for the very, very explicit breakdown. If there are any questions, queries, I think it's the best time for us to ask them. And after we would share fully there are events that's coming up at the end of the month that would allow us to have a deep dive into the practical aspects that your business or that you as an individual, if you are a solopreneur or you're running a business or a side gig, would want to use the last quarter of the year to utilize to ensure that there is more clarity, more sales, and ensure that you go into 20 business strategy that's going to blow your own mind and get you to a there's anyone that has questions at the moment, I'm sure we can unmute to ask your questions. If you want to ask about your business, current challenges that you're facing, and if you're also looking to have some clarity on how you can start building a business strategy or what you'd need to change to get more. The truth is that there are more people out there that want to use your product or service, but you don't know how to, or you've not effectively convinced them, whether with your unique strategy or the process of you getting to reach out to them effectively. So please share your thoughts, please share your comments, please share your questions, and let's see how we can assist you before we explain the event we're having on 21st and 22nd of October, and we can round up this awesome conversation. If you are where you cannot talk at the moment, we understand. Some people might be in traffic, others might be in a noisy place at the moment. You could always use the chat box to drop your questions to allow us to know how next to carry on this conversation. Okay, so I think Emerald is here. Emerald, would you want to join the conversation? I think Winga had given us a hint when Omotola requested feedback. I don't know if Edwin is available to also share feedback. We would love to hear from you.
Okay. Good evening again, and thank you very much, Omotola. Thank you, um, uh, Bolaji, for this very beautiful and very insightful discussion. And like I said earlier, I joined a bit late, but the little I was able to catch up with was just very spot on. I also want to just add, before I ask my question, I also add that to be innovative, very innovative, especially in terms of the products you're offering. Is very key in the business of today. No matter how you try to, have a hand and capture your go-to market, you get to realize that people are doing a whole lot more to ensure that they kick you out of those customers you have been trying to retain. So innovation, that is where innovation has to play out, and then ensuring that you 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 try as much as possible to ensure that your innovation uh, puts you at an edge over your competitors. So my very brief question would be that I am a sales person for equipment, material and equipment, and I understand that you have a very challenging market, especially when it comes to price. We understand that price when price play out in your market, then you start teaching your values, or you ensure that you allow the value and the advantage of your product to override that. But unfortunately, that is not the case in our market today. Even customers lately does not care about the value; they are so focused on price. And of course, if you are a premium equipment seller, you understand that uh, you cannot um, compromise your price just because you want to satisfy your customers. And then you also want to capture and have a market share as much as you can. So how do you tend to, manage this kind of situation where customers lately disregard value?
think guys probably challenged with network.
Okay, I can hear you now.
You may continue, please.
Yeah, I think I've dropped my submission. I said my question would be that how do you tend to uh, manage a situation where customers now disregard value of the product you're offering, and they're so focused on price, um, just because they needed to catch up? You understand that we have a very tough business environment, especially in Nigeria, where almost everything now has been affected by the forex. So for us in the equipment market, customers tend to disregard value, and yet they want a premium brand, but then they disregard value and the advantage this premium equipment could offer them, but they want it at a very low price. So how do you tend to manage this kind of situation?
Okay, let me answer before Bolaji comes in. So I understand very, very perfectly well what you just said right now. I worked with an analytics firm in 2018, and what we provided was analytics and consulting services. At the same time, we also provided training in data science, data analytics, cybersecurity, and all of that. As at the time when my organization came into the country, data analyst programs and data science programs were not so popular. So by the time it was getting to 2020, we realized that data analyst training was becoming so rampant that even a person who studied data analyst on Udemy just brought in 2 or 3 experts, and they began to sell courses at really, really ridiculous prices. And at that time, I think the cheapest cost we had then was 624,750. That was the cost for our data analyst program. Our data science program was around 800 plus. Data engineering program was around 1 million plus. We had a couple of courses that were around 1 million plus. So at that point, I was the group business development executive then. But one problem that I realized that the salespeople were encountering was similar to what you just said. So imagine having people calling in, making inquiry or attending your webinar when it comes to price, and then the next thing they tell you is, why is your training this expensive? After all, if I mention a training firm right now, many of us will know it. After all, this local training firm is charging this amount in fee, right? I think as at that time, that particular institution was charging um, a particular data analyst cost for 200,000 plus. So what we saw that they did that made it look like they were taking most of the clients was that a product that we packaged as one full program that we pegged at 624,750 as a package program, we're selling it as one full program. They decided to break it down into 4 levels. So they had the entry level, the intermediary level, they had I think they had the mid level, and then they had the expert and the advanced level. And if you put together the cost of each of these prices, you realize that it was even more than what we were charging them as a whole. So oftentimes, when we engage or when my salespeople, and sometimes I've also had to receive some calls on their behalf, when we engage with their clients, we do not usually dispute it. We don't even try to argue with that client that we know that the price is cheaper over there. But then we are not going to say that we didn't make an attempt to benchmark them by speaking ill of them. What we just did was that we put into perspective what is available there. Now, having a good understanding of what your competitor or what your market is doing or saying is very, very fundamental when it comes to negotiation or when it comes to talking about pricing with clients. Number one, you don't even argue with them. Number two, you need to accept the reality of what is there. Number two, you need to be able to agree with your team. What is our standard? And what is the price that we are going with? This is it. Another thing that you can do is to make them understand or to see what this, you break down what contributes to, what is it that contributes to how you arrived at your price. And also make them also see what your other customers or what that competitor that they are saying is also doing. I realize that oftentimes when we do that, when we tell them, okay, look at this organization that you are comparing us, because sometimes they come and they tell you, they mention this one, they mention that one. Even these people, they will just train you, they will not collect money. It is when you have graduated and you have your job, then you can pay them for a period of 1 year from the salary that you are getting. Yes, there are quite a lot of business because that business model works for them. And of course, they were getting the chunk of the market. But then we were not getting the chunk of clients in huge numbers, but the little that we got was able to help us stay competitive. So you really need to ask yourself, what do you want? Is it that you want the clients in mass, or you want the quantity, or you want the quality? As it is, there is always going to be those type of clients that will take quality over quantity. So let me also take, for instance, a scenario. Virtual domain, like I said, yes, of course, we provide executive training, but then we also do data analysis, market research analysis, and we also do web development and design. There was this client that I was talking with that was passed on to my desk. She was like, she wants us to design a website for her. And we gave her the price, and she was like, no, this price is too much. I know how much they do it in this place. And I said, okay, no problem. I got on a WhatsApp call with her. I told her to go online. I told her to go to HostGator. I told her to go to Namecheap. All of the things that will be needed to help her is put together the costs of the tools that will be necessary for designing our website. I told her to where to go and to buy it by herself. and just send us the login details. While we were doing that, by the time she was looking at the cost of each of these things, she was like, Motola, do you want to break my neck? I said, no, that's never my intention. I do not intend to break your neck. But then I just needed you to understand and to see what is available there in the market. At the end of the day, she agreed to the price that we gave her, because when she compared them together, she saw that our price was still reasonably considerable. So what I would often say is that we need to understand that reality. Like you said, I love the fact that you're like, this is the reality we have and we understand it. But then what is the standard that the organization that you're working with, that every team, every department has agreed to? What is the price? What is the processes? What is the quality of service that you have? And you also need to see, okay, should we evaluate our price? If we evaluate our price, is it going to need us to reduce whatever quality that we are putting out? And what is that impact going to be on our brand? Not only for short term, but also for long term. Is it something that you can bear as a brand? If no, then you need to look for a way to manage those objections and to also manage those type of people with that kind of mindset. And also another thing I often tell people, everybody that you see, that you speak to your business about, or that comes to make inquiry about your business, is not always going to be your customer. So you also need to know who will be listing onto your services, or who you'll be adding to your customer base, so that at the end of the day, you don't have a problem with them. I don't know, I hope I answered your question. Bola, do you want to?
Great stuff. I don't have much. One factor to get leads or convert people is to know or cold leads. There are some people that just come to you and ask questions about these things, and they're not interested in everybody. They'll probably practically know all your competitors, and they'll be trying between you and your other competitors. So, for example, maybe one of your equipment costs someone for 2.2, so you do 2.2. I'm not dealing with you, and you know that, like you said, the value just clearly states, okay, what do you want to buy it for? When do you want to? Because if you keep playing the price war, nobody wins. You won't be able to make your sale. Those people, your potential clients off you. So one thing is that these guys, they might have another person, and questions will allow us to know, okay, are they really interested now? What are they looking to do? How far can they go? People would not want to develop information quickly or easily. But I think it's just a case of knowing how to reach out to them, how to speak their language, who is in charge, how you can get them to have a personal relationship with you. Another thing I found more is that as much as we're doing business, there's also a place of personal relationships in the business building. So it now comes to getting close to certain people in the probably procurement department, or the people that make decisions. So it's easier to be able to get to the end of the process, stating this is what we should do and this is how we should go about it. But I think like Omotola said, it's a case of knowing how you can break down some of these things, not even acknowledging they are trying to get price points, or also trying to benefit them at less price but with more value. And at the end of the day, if you're not careful, your business will not thrive. So it's just a case of playing the game carefully. But I think the long term is not just about making money; it's about building people on your MD, for example, says you must buy from this person, except there is a major flaw. That would not any different things, and knowing how to communicate with these people that are coming to reach out. Answer Emerald's question.
Okay, I think I want to add something to that particular question. I guess he was talking about selling tools here, and then we need to factor in there's a cost price, there has to be profit margin, which is going to affect the sales price. Now, this is it. Like Bolaji and Omotola Doka said, I just want to put a little bit more you're doing. Okay, so you bought it for maybe 700,000 naira per unit. You had the logistics in between of how it got to your office, and then you have to sell it at a particular price, definitely with your profits, because you're spending a lot of money, to run your organization. Now, this is it. Myself and Omotola had this analysis at some point about people. Sometimes we want to get the whole profit from a particular client. Market is unique. Yes, it's very good to have we do things like invoice, to tell you this is the amount I'm making on this in your sales. You put the price at this amount and somebody negotiates for this amount. So long as you're making profits, it's not always all the time, because the market is not static. Now, if you're rigid to say, I have to sell it at maybe let's say, for example, let me put figures in place here. You bought it at 700,000 naira, you transported maybe 150,000 naira, that's 850,000 naira already. And then, so at least you have to make profits, right? Because you have to make profits, what's your profit like? This is the amount that goes into running the organization. You pay rent where you're at. You employ a sales boy or sales girl that you pay salary, and then you pay taxes, people working. We have many of those local governments people, and then other association people come in and all of that. So you put all of those things into perspective, and then you're saying, okay, this thing I'm going to sell it at maybe 1.5 million, which is okay. Talking about the risk and all of that. Now, if you put your risk factor in this particular product, if I don't sell it now, will it still be needed in the next, let's say, 6 months? Would it expire? If it doesn't expire, so we can now do the price margin that can influence prompt sale or more sales. Do you get what I'm saying? So if eventually you sell it at, let's say, 1.2 million naira, like somebody who has the money cash sells at 1.2 million naira, but you didn't get as much profit as you would have gotten if you sold at 1.5 M. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I'm putting it into practical life situations. So the story was about people who sell engine oil. This person says his engine oil is 2,500. Credit to the Igbo people around anyway. And then there's an Igbo guy that sells it for, okay, I said 2,500 initially, right? This Igbo person sells for 2,100 or 2,300. You would not mind the stress of walking to the 2,100 or 2,200, not because there's a mental connection that is existing between human and money. They feel like, okay, even if it is 100 naira difference, sometimes we do not mind walking down there. Now, when you have worked enough on your customer relation or customer experience and your price is more, you're going to consider yourself as a buyer, not as a seller this time around. So when you put all of those factors together, you realize that you sell more, you're making profits, right? And your stock are not stale. your stock do not stay longer. Like I said, you need to put into perspective if this product or this machine can get spoiled within a product anyway, can get spoiled within a particular time. So you have to actually play safe so that you don't have things. There are a lot of people who had spoiled stock in their houses because they were bent on selling at a particular price, which is okay. But when we consider the market, the feature of your product, you need to now know how to be creative, innovative, to know how to, move around in the market so that you're not running at a loss or you don't eventually lose your product. I hope that adds to. Balaji, are you there, Omotola? Okay, maybe they're having a challenge with their network.
I'm here. I thought Bolaji was handling the session. So that's
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I was trying to unmute. So it's fine. That's great insight, Doris. Thank you very much. I just want to ask Emerald if she is willing to expatiate more, because I responded to her questions on the inbox, and I wanted to confirm from Benga if our points were helpful, and if there is more that you would want us to discuss.
Okay, well, thank you. For me, well, you touched it. I mean, it's so well understandable with your breakdown. But then, this also has to do with different markets and products you're selling. Like you have used the instance of your training that you offer. But for us in equipment, you are unable to break down an equipment into
Various parts.
Various parts. That is just a bit of difference that we have here. However, the points that I've highlighted were a bit helpful and of course applicable. And apply them, and then let's see if this will work. Because again, we have a very complex market environment, very, very complex market in Nigeria, and
yes,
things like this. You've got to. But the one point you actually made was that relationship thing with the customer, because that is where it actually plays out, the relationship thing, and then breakdown of cost to customers to see where the increment actually comes from, why the price is high, and why you have to charge or sell your product at this particular price. So I think those points you have highlighted are really helpful. Thank you very much.
you're most welcome. One other thing I would say is that it's also we're in the dark about the product yourself. You just gave us an overview. But if and when you can join our one-on-one session that we're going to have at the end of the month, I'm 100% sure that we can take our time to break whatever down. One thing I shared with you that I've known, and it's not just in Nigeria, it's an African challenge. We need to always build our relationships, and that comes from low trust environment. Also from the fact that things go south, it's difficult for you to recoup your losses easily with the justice system. So yeah, that's where it comes from. But that's fine. That's very fine. I think Emerald wants to speak. I asked a couple of questions about her business and she can't unmute herself. Emerald, can you speak now?
Yes, I can. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right. Thank you guys for putting this together. I think it's an awesome initiative. So of course, I know my question isn't exactly based on what we're talking about today. I currently do business development for my organization, and it just looked like in recent times, the market has been really, really, really stiff, and tight, and even old clients that you think you have, been able to gather, just looks like it has become more difficult to for them to continue consuming your product, because I'm into interior design and furnitures and all of that. So it has been difficult for old clients to continue, and then for new clients to get new clients on board to buy. But on the other hand, I wanted to start, or I have kind of started a business on furniture pieces, not the big pieces, just the little pieces. It's supposed to be like another line, of the business. And, I have just been so scared to move forward, because it's like, how well have you been able to make sales in the last maybe 6-7 months? It has been like a massive roller coaster. So, it's just, for me, it's a question. It's partly question, it's partly fear, it's partly just having someone just maybe just throw. Well, hearing other people's experience too is kind of encouraging. Like, oh, you're not alone. You're not the only person going through the struggle, and all of that is actually something. So basically, that's it. That was just as a way of me trying to be part of what's being said here.
Yeah, I think from what you said,
Yeah.
Makes or what you're going through and how we can help out. So what you're saying is, some of them, in a way, your clients are not even converting as they used to, and your business is not thriving as they used to, and that's understandable. Yes, we are in a global recession, and it's going to bite more in countries more than others. For us, there is no structure that helps people and businesses manage a slowdown in the economy, and that's where we are. In other places, you have palliatives, you have injections. Things injected into the economy to ensure things keep going. For us, we are left hanging. So one thing about our ecosystem is that we have to be innovative, and we have to, keep trying different things. So for your line of business, there's a place of we talking about vitamins and painkillers, right? And those are just analogy. Some things, when you are looking to cut your budget, there's some things you will cut off without thinking twice. And for anybody looking to construct a house or hotel, he's going to want to build the finished product to a standard before he starts making it up to taste. So you're in a kind of, I won't say precarious, but you're just in a mix. That,
a good funny mix, actually.
Yeah, exactly, a tricky mix. So, but it's interesting. Have to start thinking of.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of saying, okay, I want to look at maybe smaller pieces that people use on the regular, that are not too expensive. Instead of buying a furniture for maybe almost ₦1 million, you have just little decor pieces here and there, plants, diffusers, just little things that people can buy hands-on. But the truth is, it's like, do I go all out to invest in this again, or do I just keep pushing and so it's just a little bit of fear and confusion here and there as well. Yeah.
So one thing I always tell.
Yes.
Omotola, do you want to speak?
Yes. So everything that we have all said is right. And also I want to say that fear of stepping into new markets, especially because of the reality that you have presently right now, is legit, right? But the move that you are making presently, for me, I would say, is a smart move. Because the furniture industry that you talk about, that sector presently, is already becoming a red ocean. It's very, very necessary, because if it was not a red ocean, even though there is this disruption, it shouldn't affect you to the point that you are not experiencing at least 40 to 50% of your clients saying, "Hi, do you have something that we can change?" Right? It means that they have options, and they also
Yes.
have alternatives. That's basically what could be happening. That's not necessarily what is happening, right? It's very, very, very good for you to be considering branching into the blue ocean, right? I remember um, there was this person that reached out to me. He is a caterer, a chef rather, he's a chef. And before the pandemic, he was getting, people who would come to him, okay, we have an event, help us to cook, those kind of caterers that would
Yeah.
for big events. But then during that pandemic, you realize what happened, right? There was no events, there was no gathering, and for an establishment that the core was outdoor events. So that kind of thing coming around. So he needed to change his business model and also needed to change his style of business. So he didn't first go on out to be doing, at that point there was home delivery, right? That was now becoming big. So, but then you can only go to people's environment that they trust you. They can only allow you into some kind of event. So he decided to venture into packaging, right? Selling food online on his WhatsApp, and he was packaging it. And then in front of his house, and also some strategic places that had people who were still allowing people to gather, right? He had small stores, and he had people that were helping him to keep or man those places, and he was delivering at a particular hour in the day and in the night. And that was how he was able to stay afloat before the entire lockdown receded. So whatever you are doing right now is actually very good, because I heard you say, okay, you are now considering lightnings, you are considering maybe it's curtains, or is it window blind, is it doorknob, is it light switch, is it bulb, is it diffusers, air fresheners, window blind cleaners, and so it's a very, very good thing. And to the fear that you have, because I always say that your gut feeling is something you should listen to. I would not also advise that you pump money into it, right? Strategically line out some core products and do a test for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. Do a promotional to your existing clients.
Okay.
And promote those tiny products that you're talking about that are not so expensive. Because these are people that you know that they have bought this type of product from you, those big ones, and try to do some sort of evaluation of what you think they will need for the period of time. But let's say they've bought from you last 3 months ago or 4 months ago. So collect or sort your leads and determine what type of products or set of products will be best for a particular set of clients, maybe that has bought from you maybe 3 to 1 year ago or 1 to 2 years ago, and promote those products to them. Look at what inquiry is like. At least, I don't know what your customer base is like. So if 50% of the people you send email to, right, or that you send WhatsApp broadcasts, or that you place a call through to tell them, oh, we now have this line of products, and because they already know the quality of services that you sell, when you sell those things to them and they respond, if 50% of them respond, then it's giving you an idea of what the potentials of those product lines like. Then you can now begin to create an audience that looks like those people, using paid promotions to then promote again for a period of 1 month to look at what demand looks like within that place. The more response you see is what will determine the more that you should invest into it. So don't do your investment blindly. I just hope that helps you.
Yes, that helps a lot. Thank you so much.
Bolaji, over to you. I think Bolaji's network is bad. Okay, since we can't speak at the I'll just want to go lastly to what we have to share. So remember Bolaji was saying that we have an event coming up at the end, towards let's say the last week, right, of the month. It's our business strategy workshop, and it's going to be held in Victoria Highland. at Oniro. It's a 2 days business strategy event, and it's one that I believe is going to really be pivotal to the success of the businesses that will be joining us for that event. So imagine what we got today on a free level. So imagine what you would get should you decide to join us on that day itself. Like, to be candid, right now, I don't even want to blow the trumpet of what that day is going to be like. It's for 2 days. We'll have 3 facilitators, and after the 2 days business study session, there's also going to be a 1 week one-to-one interaction with all of the participants, and most of the people that are registered. We have Dufio, the manufacturers of Indomie and Munchit, are bringing in their staffs. Patricia is also bringing in a staff. We have check of credits already signed up their staff. Absolute Wellness and Health and Wellness and Institution also signed up their staff. We have a lineup of some tech firms also that are also signing up their staff. If you are a business owner or you're a business developer or a sales and marketing executive and you think that you need help, right, to help you to be able to make sense out of your strategy or to help you to draft your strategy ahead of 2023, then I would advise that you sign up with us for this. It's for 100,000 for that 2 days and also for an extended period of 1 week. I know that we've stayed so long on this call and I wouldn't want to take so much of our time. So I want to say thank you, Emra, thank you, Bolaji, thank you, Omotela, thank you, Benga, thank you, Doris, and everyone who would be listening to this subsequently for joining us on this call. It's been an awesome session. It's been an awesome session for us here. I just want to say that let's if we think that we need additional information, feel free to chat us up or drop your contact, and then we would call you to explain the details of this workshop to you and how you can take advantage of it. So, Bolaji, if you have anything to share, I've already made you a co-host.
No, I believe this is perfect. We've spent quite a long time here, and everyone has. I won't want to exhaust more time. Just to reiterate, imagine we giving out this for free. Yeah. So imagine what you get when you get paid. When you pay for an event and you need us to hold your hands across 7 things. So we're giving ourselves everything that you need to solve your business problem to get you to the next level.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this very.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, welcome, Benga. We would love to meet you at the physical event. Emerald, we love to meet you at the physical event.
Yeah, Benga and Emerald, it would be good to have you guys at the workshop to see you. Maybe we would even give you a discount.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said we would love to have you at the workshop. We could even possibly give you a discount at least for being and staying on this call for this long. I would. I think we have your contacts. Is it okay to call you, Emerald and Benga?
Sure.
All right. So we'll give you more details about this.
Sure.
All right, about this and how you can be part of it. I would personally love to meet with us one-on-one. Thank you, Bolaji, for your support. Thank you, Doris, for your support.